This is Work University, and I'm Annalisa Felix. This is where I interview people from various employment backgrounds and get the inside scoop on what their job is really like. If you're just getting into the workforce, or if you're curious about getting into something new, listen up. Hello, today I am here with David, who is a firefighter here in Los Angeles. David, thank you for talking to me today.
Annalisa, thanks for having us on.
All right. So you are a firefighter. Tell me what it is that you do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, the typical routine for a firefighter with the LA Fire Department is very routine-like as far as what they do at the station, but it's never the same thing as far as what they do on incidents. As you can tell, obviously, we can't schedule when an incident's going to happen. It can happen in the middle of the night. It can happen first thing in the morning when you walk in the door. So for a firefighter that comes in, they have to first complete the 20-week Fire Recruit Academy. Once they are successful and pass the very rigorous requirements of our academy and the prerequisites to become a firefighter, then it becomes a job that many times we enjoy coming into work because of the spontaneity of the job itself, the interesting calls that we go on, the people we meet, the people that we work with, top caliber people that you get to enjoy working with every single day. You come into work at the fire department. We start our shift in making relief at 6:30 in the morning. We call it early relief because officially our payday does not begin till 8 o'clock in the morning, but we like to give people the opportunity to make shift exchange and have a chance to relieve them early so they have a chance to go home and take the kids to school or have a chance to get in early and beat the commuters on their way home on their way into work. So while people are coming into work, we are getting off of work in the morning. So our day, like I said, begins at 6:30 in the morning. You come in, drop your gear off at the front door, grab yourself a cup of coffee, and then start going through every piece of equipment on the either fire engine, fire truck, or ambulance that you may be riding in.
So does that mean you keep your gear with you when you go home for that shift?
No, when I say you drop your gear, you drop your fresh packed clothing that you're going to use. The typical shift is 24 hours, so you're going to need a couple changes of clothes for your workout, and then what you're going to wear, your uniform, and also your nightwear. You work and sleep at the fire station for 24 hours, so you'll need to wear something to bed that night. So you bring your clothes in, your fresh clothes, put them down, set them down somewhere, and then start opening up all the compartments, making sure every piece of equipment that it's supposed to be there is there, and that it also is in working fashion. Make sure it's fueled up, make sure it's lubricated, and make sure it works in the proper function. And then also make sure that the emergency vehicle that you're driving meets the safety requirements of the state, meets the safety requirements of the fire department, and it's set up to the settings that you need them. So if you're driving, you make sure your mirrors are in the proper position, make sure your emergency lights work, make sure your turn signals work, make sure your oils are topped off on the engine and what have you, and then work your way around the engine. Make sure you have enough oxygen for your patients, make sure you have enough bandages, make sure you have your backboards in order, your C-spine equipment, et cetera, until you work all your way around. If you're riding on the truck is a giant toolbox that just rolls down the freeway, and that thing is just full of equipment that it's going to take you, if you're a good firefighter, it's going to take you a good hour and a half to get through to make sure that every piece of equipment, the jaws of life, as they call them, which are hydraulic spreaders and hydraulic cutters, are working in the right mode, that the ladder extends, making sure that our ladders are, able to lock and unlock, making sure that your blowers, which blow out the hot, smoky gases of a fire out of a house, those start up and are fueled up, your chainsaws, you have a lot of tools on that piece of equipment that you want to make sure they're all there, and it can mean life and death. We just had an incident a couple of days ago where a firefighter went in and rescued some people. If he had not checked his breathing apparatus first thing in the morning and did not have air, he might have been able to survive the really superheated gases that he encountered when he dove into that window and rescued those kids. It was a couple, fraction of a second where he had to make that decision to jump in. So he didn't have time at that moment to check his equipment. He checked his equipment first thing in the morning when he walked in the door, and that's the very most important piece of equipment that we check is our own personal safety equipment, our breathing apparatus, which a lot of people call it SCBA or like a scuba gear that we wear at the fires. Our turnout equipment, we have two sets of different type of firefighting clothing that we wear. We have some that we wear for brush fires, and then we have others that we wear for structure fires. We have guys that are, and ladies also, that are specially trained for urban search and rescue, and they wear a different set of clothing and boots, different from what your typical firefighter wears. So they have to make sure their breathing apparatus, which is a little bit different than ours, and their gear are good.
So
it's
let
yeah,
me
go
ask you
ahead.
a question. You mentioned that you had some people that are specializing in different things. Do you try and make a schedule where the diverse specialties are on shift at all times?
Yes, as firefighters, we're all trained as firefighters, but some of us are cross-trained in other specialties. So those that are trained in urban search and rescue are assigned to specialized units, and these specialized units are attached by the computer. The dispatch computer recognizes which specialized units have specially certified individuals on those. So if an incident type comes up, which is confined space rescue, those urban search and rescue firefighters will come responding in. If it's an airport incident, then those firefighters that are certified in aircraft firefighting are dispatched to that incident. If it's a diving type incident in the Port of LA, then those firefighters that are certified divers are recognized in the computer, and the computer selects them right away, and they respond to those types of incidents.
Now, going back to the truck, how much water does a truck hold?
Well, the truck holds no water. County fire is a
Oh,
little bit
okay.
different than us. They have the quints, which do carry the water. But
Okay.
on the fire department, we have engines that have the 500 gallons of water, and then the trucks that carry all those tools and ladders to the fire. We have a unique concept on the LAFD that just about every truck is married to a pumper, and it follows it around and gives us the flexibility as operating as a fire company, as an engine company, or a truck company on the roof. So we can do both jobs, and we're cross-trained into doing both. The preference for the people who work on the life force is to go do the truck work because that's the first piece of equipment that rolls into a fire and drives at the front of the convoy. If they're riding on the engine, then their preference is going to be to do handline firefighting. But they could also be given ventilation work if it just happened that the truck arrived first. They're going in first through the front door, and those engine guys might end up going to the roof and cutting a hole to ventilate it.
Now, when you say pumper, what does that mean?
A pumper is basically a fire engine that functions as an engine, and it pumps from a hydrant, increasing the pressure on a supply line going to the engine that's in front of your house. So a lot of those hydrants that are at the corners are connected to the mains, the larger diameter lines that run up and down our streets. Those lines have better pressure. They have ability to provide more water than the hydrants that you see in the residential neighborhoods. So they help us augment and bring more water, especially if we have a big commercial fire. Those one single line or a couple single lines are not going to cut it. We're going to have big master streams, deluge guns, if you will, that are going to basically just drown an area with water, and that's when we need those pumpers to augment our water supply.
Is there a hydrant on every street? How does that work? Like you guys would know in the back of your head where a pumper was, but just me as a resident, how would I know where one of those is? An hydrant.
Yeah, the fire department carries maps, and these maps signify where every single hydrant is in the city. And right now we're in the process of developing the technology where we already have those documented on computer programs, but we want those computer programs to be real time so that the captain who's on the front seat next to the engineer, the person driving, can see those on his map and call them out to the engineer as he or she is driving. The person driving that emergency vehicle going lights and sirens, their main focus is not only just keeping the crew safe, but also being able to recognize where that hydrant is and the position he's going to park that fire engine is not going to block the truck coming behind, so that the truck
Mhm.
can do its function and be able to extend its aerial ladder. So they have to work together and be able to selectly and precisely position their vehicles to not impede each other's operation.
Mhm.
So those hydrants, like I said, are noted on maps, both electronic and paper maps, but also they have a working knowledge of their own district. They're very familiarized with their district, where they are. And also in the back of our mind, we know that approximately every 300 feet in the city of Los Angeles, we have a hydrant.
Mhm.
So it's both guesswork and also knowledge and looking at maps and just keeping your eyes open for what we call the bot dots. And maybe you've seen those in the middle of the streets and wonder, what are those blue reflective things in the middle of the road? Well, those signify to an engineer where a hydrant is. They're usually placed in the middle of the road. And then if you look to either side of the road, you'll see a hydrant. Sometimes people
Oh,
park illegally in front of those and block them, but we will be able to know that they're there because of that bot dot in the middle of the road.
okay. Thanks. And I want to go back to, you mentioned there's a 20-week academy. Now,
Yes.
at the end of that, do you get to choose where you go, or can you request where you want to go and work?
And no, those positions are assigned by our people in our emergency operations. So once you graduate the academy, while you're still in the academy, you're still considered part of a different bureau. You're working for the training bureau, and then once they're done doing your training, they give a list to the emergency operations bureau. They go through that list and basically just assign you. They
Mhm.
don't know who you are. They don't know, what your capabilities are. They don't know if you're the strongest person in that group or if you're the smartest person in that group. They basically just take names and drop them into slots where they think these people are going to do a good job, and it's just luck of the draw where you end up going to.
Mhm.
For some people, they want to be at a very busy assignment, and other people, they want to be at a place where the firefighters are going to have the time to teach them a lot of the intricacies of the fire department.
Mhm.
For many of us coming into the fire department from the outside world, it is not what we pictured. For a lot of us, our view of what the fire department is based on Hollywood. It's based on TV shows. It's based on movies. It's not really what the fire department is like. And it's a rude awakening for a lot of people coming into the fire department and realizing, oh, wow, this is really intense. Did that just really happen? Did I just see, that person die in my arms? Did I just really see that building collapse in front of me? Did I just see that hillside just tumble away? Did I see that person being dragged away by the river, by the raging river, and
Right.
drowned?
Mhm.
It's something that a lot of times the reality does not hit you until you're physically there and you're seeing these things happen in front of you.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Now, do you have to take emergency medical training with your certification?
Yes, nowadays we do require that you are an EMT certified person before you come to the fire department, and then we will make you go through an abbreviated course of the same just to make sure that you have these skills down and are able to do them. A lot of us had prior experience coming onto the fire department with the LA Fire Department, with other fire departments, or working with a private ambulance company. So those are things that make you kind of stand out above the rest, and the majority of the people that do come on LAFD have that type of experience behind them, and it helps them be more successful with our department.
Okay. Now, I have one last question for you, David. Um, any advice that you would have for, say, a high school student or somebody who would want to get into the firefighting, type of work, whether they're here in California or across the U.S.? What is your best advice on where to go and what to do, what to study, and so forth?
Start early is the best advice I can give you. I started off with an Explorer program. They call them cadets here now in Los Angeles. What that program gave me the opportunity to do was to work with the equipment, look at these tools that we use, and find out about the routine way ahead of having to do it physically. So you're already familiarized with procedures and operating guidelines, and also you've already made friendships with a lot of people on the fire department. So as a 15, 16-year-old, you have the opportunity to coexist and live with these firefighters.
Hmm.
And then also there's classes that are offered locally that you can take to prepare yourself. So in some of the high schools, we have pilot programs that are out there that are teaching high school students about the fire service and trying to instill an interest in them. We have the Cadet and Explorer program. A lot of the junior colleges offer fire technology programs also to prepare you. Getting your EMT certification is going to help you. If you can get a job with an ambulance company, that's going to help you stand above the rest. If you can start working for a volunteer fire service, perhaps with the state of California as a volunteer paid call firefighter, that's going to help you. And then there's also seasonal firefighting positions that are offered by the federal government with hand crews that go out and travel through the western United States, going from significant brush fire to significant brush fire and working with their hands and fighting the brush fires during the brush season.
Okay, good advice. Now, is there a certain online resource that would get me started on any of that?
There is a great resource. JoinLAFD.org has a lot of these different things that I've mentioned, plus many more that are going to help you prepare. It's going to talk about physical fitness and your educational background, and tell you more about the job itself.
Okay, great. Thank you, David. I appreciate you spending time and sharing your expertise and your experience about this. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening today. If you found this valuable and if you know someone who wants to be a firefighter, please forward this to them. Maybe it'll help. Also, if you have a certain job you want me to look into, email me at workuniversity4u@gmail.com. That's workuniversity, the number 4, the letter U, @gmail.com. Thank you.